Ja sam veoma zahvalan predsjednici Europske
I'm very grateful to the President of the European Commission for listening to our plea. We will not be able to have terms as we used to have. Of course, it's going to be a bit worse and a bit more difficult, but we hope that it's going to be somewhat better for us and Ukraine and some other countries that are not in the EU and countries that are trading steel in the territory of the European Union than for the so-called third countries that are actually countries that are not candidate countries. And we do hope for that. I want to thank President of the European Commission for listening to me regarding that. I want to thank her also for the fact that I believe we are going to be able to establish a joint working group with the EU representatives that is going to deal and address the energy situation in our country to see how to overcome all the problems. We do not have any negotiations with potential buyers because we are not the owners. I have told you 1,000 times we are not communists and we are waiting for the owner if needed, if sanctions survive, and it seems that they will. We're waiting for them to make a deal with whoever they want. What we've seen with the Russian situation is not an easy one, definitely not an easy one for us. And what was encouraging is that they understood and that in accordance with that, I believe they're going to act, that we cannot allow ourselves any endangering of the energy market, insufficient supply, and so on. And when President von der Leyen mentions investment into AI, we are immensely grateful to her, but we must know that we have to work energy-wise on the development of our energy infrastructure in coming 10 years. We have to work more, we have to work harder than in the past 10 years. We're not going to have enough electricity. One of the products that we export to this single market through Europe and where we make money is electricity as a third or the fourth product that we export. But we will not be able to have electricity when it comes to bigger consumption of data centers, supercomputers, artificial intelligence, e-vehicles, and so on. Only that we think when something happens that it will not be a problem in the future. We had better trains in 1885 than we had in 1935 or 1975. It is just difficult for people to comprehend that because the world is progressing, developing. It is possible because we demand bigger consumption of gas, electricity, and we need gas for the electricity. Haven't we had 2 gas power plants? Even last year we wouldn't have enough electricity. Luckily enough, we have Novi Sad and Pančevo. Zrenjanin is a small one. That's why I'm not emphasizing Zrenjanin and Mitrovica as places. But if we didn't have Pančevo and Novi Sad, we wouldn't have the electricity. But a lot of problems are upcoming, and but we have been resolving those problems. And I'm particularly grateful to President von der Leyen for enabling us to have open discussion. And I want to thank her for counting on Serbia. I'm not going to hide. It's not easy for the President to speak here because the bigger part of member states will say, yes, but Vučić met Putin on that or that occasion. And what I do publicly, and I always speak honestly and in a fair way. We are on our European path, and I say that this face-to-face to the President Putin, and I never hide that, but social networks are dominating the world, and nobody's actually asking what the contents of something is. So we are going to do our best to make progress on the European path, to do our job, and it is up to the European Union to evaluate that, and I'm always going to be grateful to President von der Leyen for her efforts and for not having any problems in showing respect for our country and for visiting other parts of our beautiful Serbia, not only Belgrade. Thank you once again for coming, and I wish you successful work.
Hvala predsjedniče, hvala predsjednici von der Leyen. Poštovane kolege, hvala i vama. Ovim je današnje obraćanje završeno. Hvala vam.